Hello YouTube, welcome to PHP playlist. Now the reason why I have this silly list right over here is I want to state a couple of things. A lot of people will sell you the story on YouTube and internet that you need to know all these things before landing into PHP. You know what, I'm gonna be honest, I disagree. I will agree that you need an absolute minimum of HTML, and that's pretty much base of everything to land into PHP. But CSS and JavaScript, well, I don't think so. Here's why. Let's say that you have that you're a student or that you're a parent, you have a steady job, and then when you're home you have a couple of hours, maybe idle time, and then you decided to learn programming. Now if you need 15 days to grasp basics of HTML and you're like kinda tired of the job, and then 15 days to grasp basics of CSS, and then 1 month to grasp basics of JavaScript, and not to mention even MySQL, and for that you probably need 1 month, probably you're going to say somewhere around CSS, to hell with this, I'm going to bed, I need to work tomorrow, or I'm going to play Battlefield 5 or watch a little bit of TV. So I definitely don't want you, to drop this programming thing, because it's after a couple of months it's easy, it's routine. So I just want to state that you don't need, if you want to go to web development route, you don't need to learn all of these to grasp basics of programming into PHP or any other basically programming language. These things are just for well, at least CSS and JavaScript. This is just front-end stuff. With the CSS you will beautify your existing HTML code, you will make it more pleasant for end users, and with JavaScript or JavaScript, whatever, you will just create your websites more interactive. Now we can disregard this for now, okay? So MySQL is different beast. It's basically database, and some people say, well, no, it's not database, it's system to manage databases. Yeah, whatever, you will have some kind of tables, and you will pull data from those tables, and you will present that to end user. Now, if you have a little bit of time spare, I will definitely advise to transfer that time from CSS and JavaScript to learning how to replicate MySQL logic, business logic, business reality into MySQL database, because that's important. Now, programming languages, they are not so important, they will change, but databases and data, that thing is important. No amount of nice CSS and JavaScript and no amount of fast and nice programming languages will be substitution for nicely done business logic, I mean backend basically. So if you have, as I said, couple of days off, do invest it into MySQL, okay? But you don't need to do that if you don't have time. So then some people will say, well, if I know HTML, a little bit of it, well, how exactly is that? How many of HTML? Well, you need to know first couple of tags, like break and tables, and how to do headings, and how to do italic and bold font, and how to change font, and basically do couple of backgrounds for tables and something like that. It's not big deal, you can even skip HTML, but then PHP will look pretty much dry. You can do you can learn for loops and while loops and if statements and all those mathematical kind of things, but results on the end of screen will be like this, it will be like letters and couple of numbers, and that it will bore you to death, okay? So little bit of HTML is pretty much enough. Anyway, enough babbling in the theory. So yeah, let's just go through a couple of these pages really quickly. Right, so PHP right now, the name is hypertext preprocessor. What that basically means in practice, that on a server everything will be done. And yeah, so it's not like JavaScript when you have things running into your end user browsers. So basically the difference here is that all important jobs, or security jobs, or pulling things from database, that's done already on a side of server. So PHP will run on a server. JavaScript and related stuff, that will run into your browser. Right, so this is like a preprocessor thing, whatever. Now, originally in 1995, PHP was standing for personal home pages, and of course that was changed a little bit later. Now, it is true that PHP is a general purpose programming language, and you can do administration scripting, you can do things that you have you can do in Perl or PHP. You can do pretty much messing around with regular expressions, with tools. You can emulate tools like Seed and Awk. If you don't know these tools, it's fine. Basically, with PHP, you can do even desktop applications. But you know, guys, let's be honest, PHP stands for web development, okay? Now, no matter how many desktop applications you can do in PHP, when you say PHP, that means you're gonna create websites, okay? And those websites will be very nicely done. I really love PHP. Some people will bash that it's unstructured code. Well, who the hell cares? If you create, you know, some amount of money, if you can pay your bills, if you can run your startup, how beautiful your PHP code will be, it's totally up to you. Over time you will get better, you know, so don't listen to people who will say, oh, PHP is, you know, it's not nice. Well, whatever, you know, when you're starting running into your first scripts, of course, the things will be pretty much ugly. That's the learning process. Same thing with mathematics, you know. First you need to do division and multiplication and messing around with zeros. When you figure it out how to do that, then all other integrals and square roots and whatever, it will be easier. Right, where I was. Oh yeah, so the dude who wrote this in 1995 was Rasmus Lerdorf, and this is the dude. So the interesting thing here is that he pretty much went from Europe, from Denmark to Canada, and as I said, you know, interesting thing about USA and Canada is those countries do have, you know, laid on the paper their strategy in like half a century in front, and now European countries are like, oh my god, Canada and USA, they are all grabbing the best scientists, mathematicians and so on. Well, yeah, right, you know, maybe you guys need to pay attention that the best people are leaving, and there probably is a reason for that. Anyway, where I was, yeah, I don't know. So always download official documentation, well, from official website. You have nice documentation here, but honestly I think that if you're a beginner with a short time span and a short time on your hands, you will be pretty much good by watching YouTube tutorials, couple of them, you know, couple of playlists, and then when you grasp the basics, when you you know, told yourself that you can do that, then you can go to documentation and invest a little bit of more time in documentation, because things with documentations and papers, they are time demanding, okay? I'm not going to kidding you, whatever the term is in English. Sorry, I'm not native English speaker. So yeah, YouTube is great for grasping things really quickly. Basic things. Well, of course, you need the books a little bit later and dedication, but you know, you're gonna do that anyway. You're going to be serious, I suppose. Right, so where I was? Yeah, editors. Look, you can write your PHP and JavaScript and HTML and CSS and even MySQL statement if you like in a pure notepad. It's totally up to you. The thing will work anyway. So don't bother yourself too much with choosing editors, because your job while you're learning programming is not to learn the options in editors. Your job is to dedicate your time to learning actual programming, okay? So forget about investing time into editors. But all these editors I have right here, I can guarantee that they are excellent, because I was using it, I still use it, and a lot of people use it, and they're really cool. For example, let's go briefly through Edit Plus. This stuff is great. Okay, yes, it's true that it's free for 30 days and then you need to pay for it, but you know, just try it for 30 days and then if you're happy, support out of it. Really, really excellent stuff. Okay, Notepad++, totally free stuff. I really love this editor. When I was starting, I was using it all the time, and sometimes I use it right now. It is really simple, it's straightforward, it will not mess you around. You will get things done into this editor, and that is really important when you're starting, to not fool you around with editor options. So you just forget about it and do the stuff in that. Okay, Ultra Editor. Now, 15 years ago or even more, when I was messing around with reverse engineering and stuff, when I was, you know, really eager kid reading all those Fravia tutorials on reverse engineering and cracking and so on, I was using this Ultra Editing when it was in like a couple of first versions, and even then it was absolutely great. So this thing is a beast. Okay, now you can do all kind of stuff in here. Okay, I think that right now they have a FTP like client included and so on. Yeah, FTP, SSH, Telnet and so on. Absolute beast, man. So I think that you need to right now to pay it. But you know, try it, if you like it, you can support authors. And that's really, you know, important when you're supporting other people who are getting the job done for you, basically. Atom, I use it all the time right now, pretty much when I'm recording for YouTube, or even, you know, when I'm off the internet and YouTube. But I'm gonna be honest, except a couple of days using Sublime Text 3, most of the time when I'm not creating things for YouTube, I'm into File Manager. And some people will say, "Oh my God, well, it's File Manager, Archive Manager. How you can write, you know, code in there?" Well, check this out. This is a File Manager, and you have all kind of options. Like, check this out. Okay, a menu. Now, see this down there, the menu. When I press Control, another options. When I press Alt, another options. Tons of options, and I can really quickly switch between views and edits. So check this script. Okay, when I press F3, I'm into view mode, so I can learn things that I cannot, you know, mess with the source code. I cannot broke things. But when I press F4, I'm into edit mode, and now I can type in whatever. So I really like this editor, and I personally use it a lot when I'm not on YouTube and recording stuff and so on. So these my recommendations. You know, Sublime Text 3 is also excellent, but honestly you can't use them all. So grab one and be very happy with it. So if you're confused, grab Notepad++ and you will be fine. And if you're a little bit more experienced, probably you will be good with Atom. So yeah, look, I'm gonna shut up. 12 minutes is a really long time for introduction. In the next tutorial we will do installation of server, and we will start running, well, our first pages. So we will turn our localhost into server. You don't need to pay for hosting right now. You're gonna do that after. So we will just experiment with localhost, and that will be pretty much enough. You don't need to pay anything. Just chill and relax a bit, take pauses, and yeah. I'm gonna shut up. Sorry for 13 minutes of tutorial, and see you next one.